Hello, everybody. Welcome to King Shit Talk. I am your host, Salid. Want to thank you guys for joining me again for our Unsolved Cases series. I'm really liking these series a lot because I'm learning more and more about my investigative skills with each week, and I'm feeling more and more like I need to call. I think his name is Dick Wolf, who produces and writes for Law and Order. I think I need to call him and let him know that I think I'm ready to hit that screen and, solve some of these cases. Um, I really appreciate you guys because I've been getting a lot of messages about the cases. I've been getting a lot of tips about some of them. And I'm feeling like you guys are probably enjoying this just as much as I am. And that makes me feel good because that's one of the things that I wanted to do when I started this series is not only bring light to some cold cases, but also get people involved, um, test out a little bit of your expertise as well as my own, and hopefully get some of these things reopened so there can be some closure and things like that. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for participating. Thank you guys for watching on all the social media outlets. Thank you for the subscribes that I've been getting. Continue to like and subscribe. Continue to share the information with others. The whole reason for doing this is to grow and to be better people, and for me to build a more solid platform. I'm all about positivity. I'm all about educating, and I'm all about the people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're gonna get into the case that we have for this week. And when I started looking into this particular case, there were a lot of things that came to mind, and there were some things that were very obvious to me. And with them being obvious, it kind of made me understand more how cases are dealt with and how things are done, because just because something is obvious, it doesn't always mean that it's open and shut. It helped me to understand that there's a lot more that goes into solving cases. There's a lot more that goes into having evidence and actually charging people. Now, the sad part about it is, from the victim's point of view, especially if you're connected to the victim, is that if you see something as obvious as well, but a case is not solved or it seems to be moving kind of slow, that would frustrate, people. I know it would definitely frustrate me. And so there were a lot of situations that came up in this particular case that kind of had me feeling like that. And what I'll do tonight is, if you've been watching, normally I will have everything lined up from the evidence that I saw, people that were talked to, things that were going on with the case, and we'll just go over it and then discuss it. Well, we're going to do that together tonight. I'm going to read it out, bits and pieces. Then I'll give a little bit on what I think about certain areas, what I feel may have went on, and things like that. But I also say that anything that I say on here is not factual to the case as far as how I think it needs to play out. And let me explain what I mean. When I'm talking about the evidence or when I'm reading from different excerpts, those are factual. But I may say something like, for example, this was probably going on, or I feel like it could have been this person. Those things are just my opinion. It's my opinion from what I saw within the case, what I read, or what I may have heard from someone that I spoke to about the case. So with that being said, I hope that you guys have an open uh mind and heart to this information as well, and we'll see what we can come up with when it comes to this. And this case was it was very sad. Um, it happened in San Francisco, and it was a mother and a daughter that were victims. The mother's name was Nicole, and if I'm not mistaken, her daughter's name was Ariana. Now, I'll give you a little bit on it before I actually dig into it. Nicole was apparently found in a makeshift grave, dead, and they still have yet to find Ariana. And I think it said that Ariana would be 7 right now. Yeah, I think she'd be 7 now. But there were a lot of people that happened to be mixed up with this particular case. Um, and after I go over it, you guys can tell me whether you feel like it should still be closed or not, from a moral standpoint. Because I know when it comes to the law, there are different hoops that you have to jump through. There are different levels to how you can do things. But just from me and you looking at it, I'd like for you to leave in the comments or what you think happened. Who do you think is the culprit? You know, who's the person that probably did these things? And I'm gonna start here first. It says 32-year-old Nicole Fitz was a single mother to a little girl, out together, and she struggled financially, often living in homeless shelters. When she stayed in California. Okay, let's stop right there and just talk about this a little bit. 32-year-old single mother. Unfortunately, that's not surprising, especially now and really over the past 15, 20 years. That hasn't been a surprise, to us. But Glenn, now we all know the financial struggles that single mothers go through and things like that. But just reading this part right here, that lets me know that her and the father were obviously not on great terms, because I couldn't see my children's mother being homeless. And, it's great that you'll take the child in, and I guess he's not obligated to help the mother, but I wouldn't be coming though I have the child. So that first off raises a red flag for me, when it comes to their relationship. Uh, and she sends Ariana to stay with her father in Southern California. Okay, so she lives in San Francisco. So she would send her daughter to stay with her father, which is good as well if you're not stable. So I applaud her for that. While she was staying in the shelter, Nicole met a woman who called herself a street pastor by the name of Lamasani Briggs. Okay, we got an Amber Alert going on, y'all. And there have been a lot of those going on too. It's crazy in itself. But yeah, let me start back. While she was staying in the shelter, Nicole met a woman who called herself a street pastor by the name of Lamasani Briggs. Lamasani offered Nicole and Ariana a place to stay, and Nicole accepted. During this time, she paid Lamasani to babysit Ariana and paid her rent to live in her home. Lamasani had a niece, Ciola Hearn, who after a few months took over babysitting Ariana after a few months. And that's what Charlie Project reports. Now, let's dissect this a little bit. She met a woman while she was staying in the shelter. Okay, that's not surprising because shelters aren't just for one person. There's often a lot of people, that stay there as well. And with the woman she met calling herself a street pastor, I'm going to assume that when you're going through situations like that, you are yearning for and looking for spiritual guidance, and you're probably susceptible to people that are claiming to be spiritual, maybe in the church, uh, may talk to you, communicate with you. And if you're stressed and you have all of that on you and you have a child, those are hard times. So I can see why she would pastor. Now, moving in with the lady, I know situations that happen like that as well. And for her to start letting her babysit Ariana, that tells me that she started trusting this woman. Um, and she probably, I mean, it doesn't say that she had to work and that's why she was babysitting her, but I want to believe that she was letting her babysit because she had to work and she was trying to, get on her feet so she could do better by her daughter and herself. Now it says, my thing is that I help people. And that's what Lemma Masani said. We do bring people in our homes. We have, and the daughter to me. So this street pastor saying, talking a little bit about her relationship with Nicole. She started treating her as if she was a daughter. And she said, our house will out and people would kick her out and she would come back home, go stay with, I guess, friends and family, or try to do it on her own. And then when that didn't go well, she would come back to their home. So this doesn't sound like a very sounds like they were allowing Nicole to do whatever she need help. They had an open door policy and they were like, you could come back very open to helping with Ariana and assisting her in that way if need be. The Charlie Project, excuse me. Nicole's sister stated that Lemasani was mean and abusive to Nicole. Well, here we go. Here we go, y'all. She often sent her text messages calling her names, never gave her a key to the home, and often read her private diary. Now, I don't know what you guys think about that particular part, but the first thing that pops in my head anytime viewing the sister and your niece couldn't come stay with you. And that's not, so I'm not saying that, her living situation was better or she was obligated to do that, but I try to put myself in other people's shoes when it comes to certain things. And if my sister was down on her luck and she was, you know, thinking about moving to a shelter and she had my niece, I mean, it's no question for me. Come live with me. Come stay here. You guys are good. We'll work it out. But I don't know their situation. True enough. But that's just what pops in my head. What pops in you guys' head when you hear that the sister was saying that she was being mean? And oftentimes I've seen situations as well as sometimes when people help you out a lot and they know that you depend on them to a degree, sometimes they can get uh mean, especially when they aren't helping you from the heart, when it's not sincere. There have been cases on one of my favorite shows, Law and Order, to be exact, where things like this happen. The abuse goes on. Sometimes sexual favors are asked for. A lot of times they'll hold things over your head, like, "Hey, well, nobody else want to help you out. Your family kick you out, but who's always there for you?" It's so many things like that that go on. And with now reading that the quote unquote street pastor was allegedly being mean to her, it kind of makes me wanna write her name down, on the side for suspects, 'cause that's what you're trying to do when you're looking for suspects is you're trying to find a motive. Someone who has a motive, anyone that had bad blood, anything that happened with a particular person that was not quote unquote normal. So let's put her over there in the suspect pile. I'm ready to throw over there in the suspect pile. So that's what we're gonna do. She's in the suspect pile right now. We'll just call her street pastor. Okay, let's move on. In November 2015, Nicole's sister and a friend came. Okay, well, they must have known that I said what I said because I was wondering that, you guys, I just said it. Why would she not allow her to live with her? Well, apparently she did. Maybe they should have lived with that part first. Then I wouldn't look crazy. But they helped her move out where she commuted 2 hours each way to get to her job at Best Buy. Al Ciola Hearns, and like these names coming from. Anna's husband, Devin, I'm sorry, Devin Martin would babysit Ariana as well. The street pastor was allegedly being mean to her, and the sister had saw text messages this situation and moved 2 hours away. But yet you still continue mean person, this mean person's niece, this mean person's other niece, and this mean person's husband. And I have no choice but to put because all of them had access to Nicole and Ariana. So if anybody's writing this down, go on and put them over there too. Let's move on. When a coworker offered Nicole a place to stay, she tried to retrieve Ariana, but to see her. Oh yeah, that's a big problem right there. You try to can they say no? Nicole was upset and her family and friends, no one in Nicole's February of 2016, and that's from the FBI reports. So 2016 was the last time that anyone, including Nicole, had seen Ariana. Now I'm wondering if they went by the houses of the street pastor or anything like that, or where they used to stay. I'm confused on that part. Hopefully, we'll get to a point where they'll mention that because I would have went straight to the crib. It says on April 1st, 2016, Nicole finished her shift at Best Buy on Harrison Street. She sent text messages to her family stating she was going to San Francisco to meet a friend named Sam. Her family was confused because Nicole did not own a car and they had never heard of Sam. On April 2nd, 2016, Nicole posted on Facebook stating, spending time with my. Her family does not believe this was from Nicole. Her daughter, Ariana, was 2 years old, not 3. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's the first flag they picked up. And the person incorrectly used the word break, and it's spelled Brake, guys, which it should have been Break instead of, well, Break. San Francisco Weekly Reports. No one could reach Nicole, and she failed to show up at work. Her family reported Nicole and Ariana missing on April 5th, 2016. Okay, so they got that text. I think it said, no, she went to work April 1st. They saw that text April 2nd, and they reported her missing on April 5th. My guess, before going any further, is that she went to work April 1st, told that she could see her daughter on April 1st after work. She probably went and met up with somebody, and she was probably dealt with then. You know what I'm saying? Um, sad business. Let's go on. Then on April 8th, 2016, a grounds 32-year-old Nicole buried in a shallow grave position covered by a large piece of concern and believe Ariana's safety was at risk. Okay, so not only did you grave and you covered her with plywood. During the investigation, police discovered Helena had served 6 years in prison for the murder of the father of her child. Wait a minute. The street pastor killed her baby daddy, did 6 years in prison. 6 years was all she got. She and her family gave inconsistent statements to investigators and still, to this day, refuse to cooperate in the investigation. Lemasani denied having any involvement with Nicole's murder or the disappearance. I just pray, we've been praying. I've been having people praying all day, all night that baby would show up. Baby Ariana will show up because the enemy is going to let her go. And somebody is going to. The authorities are going to find out who's done this evil, wicked thing. And this is what the street pastor said. We all know that's cap, though. On December 5th, 2021, 54-year-old Lamasani Karen Briggs, aka Street Pastor, died after a battle with. Wow. So in 2021, she passed away, y'all. Um, Many of the comments on her social media post are people asking Lamasani where Ariana is. Many comments suggest she has something to do with the murder of Nicole and the disappearance of Ariana. So they're feeling like the same thing I am. I mean, and that's those things I was talking about in the beginning of the show about the obvious. There are a lot of things that are going to sound and look obvious, but sometimes that doesn't matter. These are some of the comments posted on her YouTube videos, and I'll just read a couple of them. The first one said, "You just preached. Don't be overcome by evil, Miss Lamasani Briggs. So then what happened to you? Because evil is in you. May Nicole rest in peace and you finally get a conscience and admit to who killed Nicole and where is precious Ariana." Another comment said, "Gag, you better confess your sins. God is real and you will be judged." Now, there were many more messages on her pages, but it seems like everyone that commented felt like she had something to do with Nicole's death and Ariana's disappearance. No one has ever been charged with the murder of Nicole, and her daughter, Ariana Fitz, has never been found. The FBI and the San Francisco Police Department are offering a $250,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of those responsible for the murder of Nicole Fitz and the disappearance of Ariana Fitz. Please contact the FBI with any information. Yeah, that how can I mean, from what you've heard me say thus far, how could none of the people that that, were in contact with Nicole or involved with Nicole and Ariana have been charged or anything happened more than questioning? Because you had the husband, you had 2 nieces, you you had the but out of all those people that has, nobody's locked up. Nobody. Think about it. This says on a San Francisco woman and her 2.5-year-old daughter were last seen by relatives. A week later, the body of 32-year-old Nicole was discovered in the park, but the child was never found. Police now say they have new developments in the case. Well, let's talk about a couple of those developments, shall we? But we'll say this first. Um, there was a vigil for the old mother came to the park on April 1st, 2016 to meet a person known to her, police say. Most likely her child's babysitter. It's there where her body was discovered in a shallow grave. Her sister, Contessa Fitz, remembers what she was made of. The biggest thing I remember about my sister is how much love she had. How much San Francisco police announced that the department was increasing with, so I don't know why they're saying increased. Um, for information in Nicole's murder, I say progress has been made in the investigation, but no one has been arrested or charged. As we continue to collect information, analyze forensic evidence, and develop new leads, we together with the FBI will be reaching out to people again in the coming weeks and months, revealed Captain James Aherney in charge of strategic investigations. I'm gonna stop that right there because that's a lot to unpack. All of the information that I've given, telling you guys about this story, I think we all can pretty much paint a conclusion to what we feel like may have happened. I don't know from my point of view exactly who I would say I believe uh killed Nicole and took Ariana, but I do have a small list of people who I believe probably did it. And they consist of either the husband or the nieces or, the street pastor could have possibly done it, and then she just happened to get COVID-19 and pass away. But I think it's a grave injustice that no one has been charged in these crimes. I think it's sad and it's unfortunate, but these are how some things go. And the first week of this series, I told you there were over 500,000 unsolved cases in the US. Over 500,000. And we've talked about 3 of those. And in 2 of those, last week's and, and this week's, it seems very evident on who the guilty parties are. And unfortunately, off of what we think and what we believe, even when a lot of the evidence and a lot of these situations are pointing towards someone specifically. And so that's why we have to continue to do the work that we're doing. Um, Continue to try to research and try to find out, certain things and try to dig. I mean, I have to communicate and other people in this case, just like the first case of this month, to try to find more information, to try to get, more insight on what's going on. And hopefully the case will be reopened and hopefully one day someone will be brought to justice on this side of the veil. Um, Continue to check in, tap in, and follow what we're doing, guys. I know it's not like what you're used to as far as King Shit Talk, and we'll be back with that. But I just wanted to do this for this month, and I'm really enjoying it, to be honest with you. So I mean, I'm contemplating extending it, on into next month too. I mean, you guys have to tell me, comment whether you want me to stay on this track or go back to some of the different topics. As you know, my whole goal is to uh, bridge the gap between men and women to help men understand a solid foundation for our children so that these situations aren't always easy to talk about, but they do need to be talked about. Can be shined on, and it could come from places and avenues outside of what's directly connected to them. And so you guys are a part of that, and I appreciate you. Um, Continue to like and subscribe. I ask you guys again, please, please, please share the Sprout Tube channel, which is King Shit Productions. Subscribe to that. Follow me on Facebook, Salid Sims, SALID, last name SIMS. Continue to be who you are. Continue to be the great people that you are. Continue to strive for the best. Keep pressing forward. Keep doing you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do whatever you want and need to do. I thank you guys. Be back next Thursday at 8:30. And Kev and I are gonna have to do something special too, because we haven't blessed you guys with smooth Saturdays in a minute. It feels like a minute anyway. I had to go back and check to see last time we did it, but he's been busy with some things. I stay busy with some stuff as well, but we haven't forgot about that, y'all. We do that, and we started that so that we could kind of have a decompression and a woosah moment from the heavy stuff that we talk about on King Shit Talk. So we'll get back to that possibly next Saturday. He and I'll talk about it and discuss it and see what we can put together. But I thank you guys. I truly appreciate you, and have a great rest of your week. Have a very safe weekend, and I'll have another case for us next Thursday at 8:30. I appreciate you guys.